Zidane Danny, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Nerd Chat here on Electro Ninja's Lab. I'm here with my fellow host,
I'm Jack.
and today is gonna be an interesting discussion. Um, for those of you who are unaware of what is currently going on, which I don't know how people wouldn't be aware of what's going on, PlayStation is being extremely dumb and deciding that they want to do away with physical media. Um, Basically getting rid of physical games because supposedly there is a lot more trend towards digital than there is physical. And we kind of want to talk about that. Like, we've made our stance very clear. No, it's stupid. It is extremely stupid. Probably one of the stupidest things ever. Physical media is always better than digital media. There's just like certain situations where it's a little bit where you can, but kind of I want to talk about like where the heck are they getting this idea is like part of it, but also like talking about why it's kind of a dumb idea. But also get Jack's thoughts because while I mostly play physical, Jack, you mostly play digital, right?
Correct.
So I think that this is actually like a really good example of like what is good, why exactly digital does have its benefits, but also why um why it's really dumb to go digital only. So if you were to take a guess as to the percentage of your games that you have digital versus the ones that you have physical, what would you say that is?
Um, let's see. I have 11 physical games,
Okay.
and let's see. How many games do I have? I'd say it's a good 60 to 70% digital.
Okay. So I think that's like a good example of like what it is, what the example is as to what kind of things we have. I also have quite a few digital games, despite the fact that I prefer physical. Um, but I want to briefly go over like what games I have that are digital, um, despite the fact that they have physical versions. And there's actually two main reasons why I have them. Um, One is just it was the better option at the time. So whether that be with Kenna, um, where there wasn't a physical version when I got it, so there's that. Or if we compare it to say Mario Kart, where I got the physical version or I got the digital version because it came with the system. Um, and similar situation with a few other things. Basically, I got a lot of my digital games that I have that I didn't get that have physical versions because they were free or way cheaper. And I'm specifically focusing on like PlayStation and Nintendo when I say these things. Obviously, I have a lot more games that are digital on the computer, um, and I think that that's just gonna happen, unfortunately, because a lot of the games that are um on the computer, there's no other option. You do not have an option of nowadays. You do not have an option to get a physical version of a game if you're playing on PC, and I don't necessarily think that that is as big of an issue when it comes to PC gaming versus say something when it comes to like PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo. because like the whole point of it is like you want to play your games. Um, there's a lot with it. Um, but overall, a vast majority of my games are physical. Um, Obviously, I do have quite a few digital games that are only digital on PlayStation, only digital um, on the Nintendo, um, on the Nintendo consoles. But those specific games literally have no other option. Whether it be that they are a port of an old game, which I do have the physical version of, I just can't play it it's a lot harder to play it on the physical format now because it's an older system. Um, or some other situation. So like PS2 games, I have a few of those that I have digital on the PlayStation, um, and so on and so forth. And I think, obviously, online games are only digital. There's very few that are that have physical versions, um, and I think the the thing that concerns me is their terminology that they have is that it's like an 80% the term that the way that I've seen it when it comes to digital versus physical is that digital is like 80% compared to like 20% for physical. And I think that that is kind of skewed in the favor of digital because one, um some games are only digital, and two, uh certain systems kind of go into place where it's just easier for certain people to get the digital version than to get the physical version. Um, like let's take you for example. You have limited space when it comes to your games, so limited physical space. So getting digital makes a lot of sense. Um, and also, yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of other reasons why someone would go digital. Um, what are some other reasons why you go digital? Usually,
I mean, frankly, I'm lazy.
yeah. um, and that's fair. I think that that's a reasonable reason to get a digital game every now and again. Um, if you want a physical game, you have you either have to wait for it to get delivered, or you have to physically go to a store in order to pick it up. Um, and that's not always the easiest thing to do, especially if it's like a game that you're really excited about and it's coming. Sometimes going to the physical store means that you're going to be behind everyone else when the game finally comes out. Um, that's kind of what happened when it came to me with Elliot. Um, if I had gone digital for it, I probably could have played it on the day that it released. But because I wanted to have a physical copy of it, I had to wait a little bit. And that's just like the most recent example. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of reasons why, and I think that it's important to understand that not necessarily just because a lot of people go for digital does not necessarily mean that they don't want physical at all. Like, if you had the choice, if you were able to easily get all of these physical versions, the physical versions of every single game that you own, would you do so?
Probably.
Exactly. Like, I think that's the important thing to realize that these companies aren't necessarily realizing is like we would prefer physical 100%, and I think that the vast majority of people who do play digitally as the majority of their games would prefer physical versions. I don't necessarily know if it's every single one of them, but I don't I think another thing that they need to think about, and they really should have been specifically looking at this data. Um, so PlayStation and Xbox both did a digital version and a physical version of their current consoles. So the PlayStation with the PS5 and Xbox with the Xbox Series. Um, both of them have a digital version and a physical version for both of them. And when it came to both of in the early in the early times when they first came out, the very very quickly, I want to say within days, physical versions were completely sold out for both consoles. And then when it came to the digital versions, they sold out. They did sell out, but comparatively, they sold out a lot slower. Because the main people who bought the digital versions were scalpers who then sold them, tricking people into thinking that they were the physical versions, and people who just didn't have the option anymore. They wanted to have a PlayStation, but they couldn't get the physical version. And sure, some people did go for the digital version right away, but the vast majority of people who did buy the digital versions were not wanting to go for the digital versions. Um, Most of the people that would go for digital versions would rather just go for a PC at that point. Because, yeah, it's uh, in that situation, it's a better option, and you can use it for more things than the consoles. You can't, but yeah. Um, and that's the big issue. Is like that's another thing to think about. Is if both PlayStation and Xbox decide, okay, we're just going digital now, why in the world would anyone buy a PlayStation 6 or whatever the next Xbox is going to be if they're just digital? Like, Xbox is completely available on PC. You want to play any game that is on Xbox, you can get the Xbox store on PC and play your games on your PC. Um, and while PlayStation is a little bit trickier, most of their games eventually go to like Steam or whatever. Um, if they use the Unreal Engine, they go to Epic, which is unfortunate, but yeah. And if it's indie game, expect it to go to GOG, honestly, because most of GOG is probably like one of the best options for indie developers. Um, Honestly, use GOG if you can. Seriously, people. I don't want to get too much into that whole debate, but if you're using a PC, GOG is the better option because you own the games. They are very um one of the things that I really like about GOG, and why I specifically want to bring this up, is even if they lose the rights to sell the game, you're never gonna lose it. They fight for that. That no, people aren't gonna lose their games if this happens, and and if something like that did happen, and they have deeply apologized and refunded people. So yeah. And it's rare. It's extremely rare. In fact, I don't even know of a specific situation where where that sort of thing has happened. Apparently, they used to have the Warcraft games and then lost the right to sell them, but every single person who had them still has them. So, yeah. Um but let I don't know. It's bad. It's very very bad. Um and I want to also briefly go over um what is going on with Nintendo as well. So we both got Pokopia digitally, despite there being a physical version. But part of that was because of the fact that it was the key card system. Um, and we weren't too pleased with that. But overall, the keycard system is 1,000 times better than than just completely doing away with digital or completely doing away with physical entirely. Um, I think one of the big things as well is like the PS3 and the PS Vita are also going to be losing access to their stores, to their digital stores. And this is exactly the point that we're making is like if someone wants to get a game that was only digital on the PS3, that means that they are no longer going to be able to get said game. And that sucks. They already did this with the PSP, and it's just a huge freaking mess. Um, like we know a little bit about this when it comes to like Nintendo when it came to the 3DS because the 3DS online store is gone, which is that's upsetting, but it's not like as upsetting as uh, uh I don't think that was as upsetting because we knew that that the Switch was going to have better systems in place, and they didn't get rid of any games that you owned. But the thing when it came to PlayStation is that they have gotten rid of things that people have owned. The specific situation is that the when you could buy movies from the PlayStation Store a few years ago, and I think that you still can, but pretty much everyone agrees don't do that because when you buy a movie from from the PlayStation Store, it is not a guarantee that you will keep said movie. And it's not like Amazon where you buy the movie and even if they lose the rights to it, you still have it. Um when it comes to the PlayStation Store, a lot of movies got removed and nobody got any refunds back from it, and that still stings with a lot of people, and it's part of the reason why very 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 few people are willing to put the digital games in their control. um and I think the bigger issue, I don't know, there's a lot of issues with it. Like thinking about like lending a game to your friend so that they can purchase it, or maybe they'll purchase it later or something like that. The thing is, like if you lend your friend a game, if they like it, that means another sale for whatever game company it is the and I don't know. It's it's weird. And another thing with that is that a lot of people um I don't know. A lot of people have been talking about a lot of different things when it comes to this. I don't think there is I've not seen a single person who is actually happy about this decision. Um like game companies are giving them shit about it. Um the other consoles are giving them shit. Well, Xbox isn't giving them shit because I think that Xbox is also considering doing the same thing. Um but I think even like Steam and GOG, and I don't know about Epic, but I don't think Epic would because Epic is kind of shitty anyways. But like, I think GOG has specifically said that has shit on them, and they are a digital company. They function as a digital company, and yet they are like, no, this is extremely dumb. Like, how, are they gonna own their games anymore? I don't know, but I don't know. What are some of your thoughts? Well, I've been talking a lot.
Um, you know, I really like digital media on Nintendo specifically,
Yeah,
but I can see the downsides for sure.
yeah,
In the sense that like it doesn't always work. It takes forever to download, things like that. Like
Yeah.
I see both up and down.
Yeah. And I really wish that that you had some like experience with it when it comes to like some of the other consoles as well when it comes to digital media, because Nintendo is actually the best one when it comes to digital media. Because they don't get rid of your games ever. And like, yes, they got rid of the 3DS online store, but the difference being with that is like every game that you bought on the 3DS, if you bought a game on the 3DS online store when you had it, you still have it on your system. Um, Granted, it's a little bit tricky. Like you can't, if you get like a new 3DS and you connect your system back to the account, um, then you can't just re-download those games. So that's an iffy situation. But that's one console compared to PlayStation has been doing this for years, and they if they lose the rights to a game, they lose rights to a movie, you can't download it anymore. Is the big issue. So and it's tricky. It's really freaking tricky. Um I think another thing to think about is like let's talk about Christmas as just like an example. How do you think comparatively how do you feel when you get a digital game for Christmas versus a physical game?
I've never gotten a video game for Christmas.
Oh, hard. Okay. I yeah, forgot. I kind of didn't think about that. Um how about for your birthday? Have you has that happened?
Nope.
Okay. So I get both for both my birthday and for Christmas. I've gotten both. Um when it comes to a digital game, it's like, "Oh, cool. Awesome. Thank you. This is nice. I'm glad that I got this game." Um Comparatively, one of the things that I really love about getting a physical game, especially for Christmas, I think that Christmas it's really fun because um sure, when it comes to wrapping, you can usually tell, oh, that's a video game, oh, that's a movie, or it's one of those when you see the box. But comparatively, you don't know which one it is is like part of the thing with that. And so there's part of that, but also there's a distinct feeling when it comes to when you first open a game, whether it be like for Christmas or for your birthday or just purchasing it yourself and unwrapping it for the first time, getting all of the plastic off. There's a smell to a brand new game. There's a texture on your fingers as you're opening it, and I specifically think about that about like how it felt as a kid to open these games up and feel them in my hand, and then comparing that to when I get a digital game as an example. It's like, oh, cool, there it is. It's on my dashboard. Cool. the, it, I don't know if I can sell it really well for especially when it comes to like vocals. Um but it's kind of a thing that you kind of have to experience for yourself. But it like you kind of get what I'm saying though whenever you've bought like yourself a new game, right? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So like there's that so there is that. And then there is also the aspect of like especially if you have friends within the area, um you can lend your game to your friend And like Nintendo has certain aspects with that when it comes to their digital they're trying to figure out ways to do that when it comes to digital format, but they know it's not perfect. Um so yeah. But yeah, you can lend your game to a friend and then they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." And I think like the best example of this is like when we've lent each other books in the past. And we lend each other books and it adds to the sales, whether it be that one person will read it, be like, "Oh my gosh, this is awesome," and then they'll purchase it for themselves after sending it to the sending it back or whatever. Um, and like, granted, we're book collectors. We have a lot of books, so that's kind of a situation with that is like even if we've fully read the book, we still want to get the book for ourselves. Um, and the same thing kind of goes with games. And the thing with games specifically is that there's infinite replayability. Um, once you own a game, if you ever want to go back and replay through that game, I've played through Kingdom Hearts so many freaking times, like just as an example. And I think that's really telling for. I think that's one of the things that Square really knows is like they know that people are going to repurchase their games. It's why there's a new version coming out soon. They know that people will purchase it and be like, "Yep, time to play it again." uh, like sure, a lot of the sales for the new version of Kingdom Hearts that's coming out is gonna be for players who have never played the game because it's finally a native port to the PlayStation or not a native port to the PlayStation, native port to Nintendo specifically, and which will allow people to actually play the games for the first time. Um, a good example is you, because this is going to be your first time actually playing through the games once that comes out. Um,
Right.
And then, but the other thing is that there are going to be people like me who are going to want the physical format of the game again because it's like I want to get it because I want to have it. I want to have a version that I can play on my Switch and take with me places. I think that that's a really fun idea to me. Um, so there's that. But the thing is, like, that's not the only situation. There's all sorts of situations where people are like, yes, I want to play this. I want to do this. I want to do that. Blah, 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 blah. And yeah, getting the physical game is cool. With that specifically, there are going to be people who will be getting the digital versions. But yeah, getting a physical version of the game is going to be really nice to have. And like, that's Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts has had dozens of physical versions, and they're still gonna get like a crap ton of sales. The PS5 version is probably gonna be the one. The PS5 and Xbox versions are probably gonna be the ones that sell the least, but there are still gonna be people who are going to go out of their way to purchase these because they love. Because they whether it be that they just haven't played it and this is like the easiest way to get into the game, into the series because it has everything but I think Melody of Memory. It might even have Melody of Memory, I don't know, but I don't think it does. I think it's just 1 through 3. But it's going to be one of the easiest ways to do it because yeah, people can just be like, buy 2 games and then boom, they have everything. And I don't know, it's hard for me to properly describe with that, but that really sucks because that's going to be that's a there's a good possibility that that is the last Kingdom Hearts game that is gonna have a physical version. Now, granted, I think that Square has been one of the companies that has told Sony that they're dumbasses for this. Um, a lot of companies have been telling them. I think it's important to realize is that it's not just the gamers who are being like, "You're a dumbass. Don't be like that. Don't be giving people. Don't be doing this shit." Because everyone wants to play these games. Everyone wants to have or not necessarily everyone wants to have physical versions, but a lot of people want to have physical versions. And I think the other thing to remember is that I don't think there will ever be a single person who does not want to have a physical version of a game. Um, whether it be that they just want to have I don't know. There's a few times where it's like, yeah, they may not necessarily want a physical game too much, but there are always going to be games that someone wants to have a physical version of. Whether it be something that has been from their childhood and getting the next version is going to be fantastic, or it might just be that the game looks really nice and they'd like to have a physical version. One of the things that I said is that there has streaming has didn't kill Blu-rays. It didn't kill physical media. Whether you're talking about like streaming movies or streaming music, that did not kill the physical formats. People still want their physical formats, whether that be getting records or getting CDs or Blu-rays or DVDs, whatever the frick it is. Like just as an example, I can watch Zom 100 as just like an example. I can watch Zom 100 whenever I want to, and it can be a lot of fun doing that. I can just I can go to Netflix, I can go to Crunchyroll, and I can watch them. But I got the physical version of the series because I love it so much. And same thing goes for like Reincarnated as a Sword. I love that series. Um, and I like getting a physical version of a movie, a show is good because then you know you own it. Compare like granted there is Amazon. Amazon does allow you to purchase something and then you own it and it does not go away ever. Um I hate Amazon, but at the same time at least they don't get rid of your stuff when you once you purchase it. Um
Great.
so yeah, so there's that. Same thing goes for whenever you have a physical version. Yes, you can lose it. Yes, all of these things it can be broken or whatever. But the fact is, you own it, and like if it breaks, if it gets lost, whatever happens, it's kind of on you. Compared to like if the company just decides, okay, you don't own it anymore. You don't get your money back. You don't get any of these things back. Sorry, it's just gone. Like that's really shitty.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And Grant, I don't know too much about when it comes to the games. I don't think that I don't think that they've done that with games. But the thing is, like everyone knows that PlayStation has done that when it came to movies, and that's the thing that makes people like, ugh, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna go for it. And yeah. So we'll see what happens, but I think it's really telling. If you go to the PlayStation physical the blog post, it has 8,000 comments on it, all of which saying fuck you, you're an idiot. Like
Oh wow.
that is a very very quick and dirty way of putting it, but Yeah. It's basically just like, "You're dumbass, don't do that." Um, because, yeah, nobody wants that. Everyone is just like, "No, fuck you. You're dumb. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it." Pretty much every single, post is saying that. And every on every single social media, whether it be Blue Sky, Facebook, Twitter, all of them are commenting on like either as just blanket things, not even mentioning PlayStation. They are tagging PlayStation. They're commenting on everything that PlayStation says, where they're basically just like, "Fuck you, you're a dumbass. Don't get rid of these things." And like I said, granted, most of these people are just the gamers. The vast majority are the gamers. But I don't think I don't think there is a single creator, a single company that has been like, "This is a good idea." And like, I want to talk. I want to like think about like, I haven't seen Concerned Ape say anything yet, but I have a feeling that if he said anything about it, he would probably be like, "You're a dumbass. Don't fricking do this." Like, he doesn't even sell, or well, he rarely sells physical versions of Stardew Valley. Um, so the fact that even I feel like he would be an interesting person to see what he says about it. Because yeah, Stardew Valley he mostly sells digitally, but I feel like he would be like, "No, this is extremely dumb." Like, there just because I didn't necessarily put my game onto physical formats that often, I know that people want these things to be physical formats. And I think they you can purchase physical formats of Stardew Valley, whether it be like PlayStation, Xbox, uh, or the Switch. Um, I think. Um, I don't think they sell really well, but I do think that they do sell reasonably well comparatively. So, yeah. And like I said, that's a mostly digital game. So, I don't know. There's a lot with that. Um, and I feel I do like that they gave time. They are doing quite a bit of time before they're supposedly doing this, because it gives them the chance to back down on it. Um, and I think so. GTA, the next GTA is doing something kind of like this, where they are starting off digital only, as basically like, hey, we're gonna start off digital and then we'll go physical, but it's gonna be a little bit of time, and that's fine. I think that that is a fine way to handle things. Is like, if certain times there are games that just they need a little bit more time to do like physical releases, but whatever, that makes sense. Um, but I think that because they're doing it, it's setting a standard when it comes to the digital formats. And yeah, I don't know. Um, I do hope that that is not going to be the case for much. I hope that they realize this stupid mistake. And the, it hasn't even been a week yet, and basically the internet imploded with rage against them. Um, I think every single person that I follow on Blue Sky has made a post basically saying, "You're a dumbass, don't do this." Um, and grant like I don't know what it's like on Twitter, because I don't use Twitter anymore, but there's like a whole bunch of posts from like IGN and yeah, um like on Facebook, Instagram, uh comparatively, I don't really see too much when it comes to the Instagram side of things, but also like, yeah, there's not really as many situations with that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I hope that they are gonna listen to that and be like, "Mm, you know what? After we've heard all the complaints, we've decided to change our minds. We are not actually doing this." Um, and maybe they'll be like, the PS6. While we were gonna just have it be a digital only system, we will make a physical version as well. Because holy crap, people were outraged. But we'll see. Well, hopefully they'll learn from that, and I do hope. I really hope that they're gonna fix that they're gonna stop that, but it's hard to say at this point in time. What do you think? Do you think that all of the outrage, just based off of what you've seen, and I know you haven't seen as much, do you think that they're gonna change their mind?
Honestly, I doubt it.
Yeah, that's unfortunately fair. I I think what I think is quite likely when it comes to whether or not they will change their minds about it is going to be the sales, because I honestly do think that the sales are going to be abysmal. Um I think that there will be people are I think that a lot of people are going to continue to buy physical um in the next while. But I think that the digital market, specifically on PlayStation, is gonna just go completely down over the next few weeks. Um, next few weeks, next few months. Um, I'm really hoping that people know about this, because they're not really publicizing it. PlayStation themselves are not super publicizing that they're doing this. It was basically a blog post. I think maybe Twitter posted it. I don't think Blue Sky posted it. I don't think that Facebook posted it. I don't think that their Instagram posted it. Um, so it maybe Twitter. And like, granted, Twitter is the most used platform when it comes to this type of news, but I I do wonder if they knew that this was going to be very bad, and as such, they're not going to be doing. They're gonna. They don't want to publicize it very much. Too bad it's public. It is very, very public on every single social media. People are saying, "What the fuck are you doing?" So I don't know. I hope that their stance will make people realize, nope, this is a bad idea. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Um, I guess the other question: do you think Nintendo is gonna take any notes from this?
Oh god, I hope not.
Yeah, I I think because of this specific situation happening over on PlayStation, I think their key card system is actually going to do a lot better. Is the problem? Um, uh, I don't know if that's accurate, but I remember, like, we remember when the key card system started popping up. We were very mad. We didn't want it to happen, and as such, we just got the digital versions for Pokopia. Um,
Right.
I think there is a decent chance that the key cards are probably gonna sell better now. I really do. Um, I think that there's like, when it comes to the key card system, I do think that the key cards are always going to sell worse than their digital format, than the digital format. But I think that because of the because of the PlayStation thing, I think that if let's say just using that the 80-20% as an example, I think that if 80% of people are buying digital for the key card system and 20% are buying the physical are buying the key cards, I think that there's a good chance that it changes to being 60% of people buying the digital versions for that and 40% buying the key cards. So, yeah. Um like just for me as an example, yes, I bought Pokopia digitally. I'm not buying any more games digitally. Um, period. I don't like if I get one for free, cool. If I get but when it comes to PlayStation, when it comes to Nintendo, no more digital games. I'm getting physical versions from this point forward because that's insanity. Um, and I would really like to hear um various different stores thoughts on what's going on. Like the people who work at these stores. So I'd like to hear people who work at GameStop. Um, and would like to hear what people think at like local games at used game stores. Um, because used game stores, I don't think they're going to suffer that much. I really don't. Because the new games are not what they're selling. Um, so they're probably overall, I think that they're probably like, this is bad, but we're not going to suffer for it as much. I think that GameStop is probably going to be the one who's really going to suffer, and companies like them, where their primary sale numbers are either from merch or from the new games. So I really want to hear what they have to say about this, because like just as an example, uh when a new game comes out and you want people want to go in to get their physical versions of the games, they wait at the store front, and like that whole community aspect of it, I don't see that happening with the uh digital tokens or whatever we want to call them, basically those cardboard things, from this point forward. I don't see that happening. I really don't. Um, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's it's a whole situation. Anyways, guys, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Do you have anything that you want to say before we conclude this video?
Nope.
All right, cool. But yeah, that's what's going on. Hopefully PlayStation is listening to these types of things, and will learn from it. Um, but yeah. Anyways, guys, I've been Electro Ninja. He's been Jack, and we will see you guys next time. But on.